Metro Manila's traffic is best explained through this. And the alleged culprit, the City of Manila's truck ban policy. Ordinance 8336, passed by the Manila City Council early this year, prohibits 8-wheeler trucks with a gross weight of more than 4,500 kilograms from taking the streets of Manila from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., 2 hours longer than the daytime truck ban enforced by the MMDA other parts of Metro Manila. The ordinance imposes a 5,000 peso fine for violators and possible impoundment of their trucks. Aside from heavy traffic, truck operators oppose this city ordinance, saying it cuts the daily processing capacity of the port to around 3,500 containers from 6,000, thus the congestion. But Manila Mayor Joseph Estrada says that it has more boons than banes. He stands more people benefited from it.
Ang mga truck na madalas ay nagiging sani ng bull traffic dito sa Maynila.
Earlier this month, the House of Representatives adopted Resolution 1450, urging the Manila City government to immediately impose a moratorium on the truck ban until December 2014 or until the port operations return to normal. It claims that the shipping industry has lost around 5.4 billion pesos in revenues and an overall loss to the economy between 61 billion pesos to 321 billion pesos since the implementation of the local ordinance in February. Welcome to Opposing Views, a hard, straightforward discussion of today's most pressing issues. When a food supply chain is disturbed or when massive businesses are in peril, a city ordinance will surely become a national concern. The Manila truck ban is said to have congested ports of Manila, delaying the delivery of products, thus resulting to price increases of goods, less business for truckers, less earnings for truck drivers, and additional expenses for traders, such as additional demurrage charges. Tonight, let's weigh in if the continued truck ban policy is having a negative impact on the country's economic growth. So our debate question for tonight: should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? Good evening, I'm Rod Nepomuceno, and this is Opposing Views. Joining us tonight in our discussion is Engineer Alberto Swansing, Director of the Confederation of Truckers Association of the Philippines. Good evening, Engineer Swansing.
Good evening, Rod, and good evening to your viewers.
Yes, sir, anong position niyo with this debate question? Should Manila lift its truck ban?
Actually, that's the question. No? We are for that lifting of the truck ban in Manila. Not only Manila, but also in other cities in Metro Manila.
Mm-hmm. And it's really purely for your interest of the truckers,
it's for the interest of the owners of the cargos that we carry.
Okay. All right. Now on the opposing side is Councilor Manuel Zarcal of the 3rd District of Manila. He's also the proponent of the truck ban in Manila. Sir, Councilor Zarcal, good evening. Your thoughts on this? I know you're the proponent of the truck ban ordinance.
Good evening, Rod, and good evening, Director Swansea. Good evening to our televiewers. My piece, it's not the truck ban that caused the congestion. It has been there even before the truck ban. Mm-hmm. So the lifting of the truck ban may be temporarily, but I think it will bring more good to the City of Manila than otherwise.
All right. So let's start off. No, I mean, I think this whole thing kind of escalated when a couple of days ago in the headlines, the front pages, no, the traffic on NLEX, no. And is it right to conclude? Maybe I'll start off with you, Engineer or Director Swansing, to conclude that the recent NLEX traffic jam was caused by this truck ban of Manila?
No, in fairness to the City of Manila, the recent traffic jam in NLEX was caused by the reconstruction going on along A. Bonifacio Street, that's in between 2nd Street and Anda Circle. That's as you go down the Delpan Bridge.
Okay, all right.
Because Delpan Bridge is a four-lane bridge And as you approach A. Bonifacio Drive, it becomes a 1.5 lane roadway because of the construction going on. And because traffic was not being managed well on top of Del Pan Bridge, so Road 10 got stuck, then Road 10 is connected to C3, C3 got stuck, and then what's called this, C3 is connected to A. Bonifacio Street in Quezon City, so A. Bonifacio Street got stuck, and A. Bonifacio Street is right next to Balintawak.
So,
nagkaroon
ng domino effect.
Domino effect.
Alright.
Napabayaan, especially if you notice on that day, umulan muna.
Yes.
So, walang enforcer.
I see. Okay, at least, Councilor, you don't have to defend that point. Yes. So let's remove that from the table, the NLEX. Okay, I hope it's clear to our televiewers that NLEX problem that we had a couple of days ago was not caused by the truck ban. So we move forward. Now, before we go to the effects, Engineer, now I'll go to you again, and then I will talk to Councilor Circal. Before we go to the effects, is the truck ban a wise solution to decongest Manila traffic?
We have been saying all along, no, all through these years, whenever there is traffic, the first instance they look at the trucks as the cause of.
Because you occupy obviously a big amount of the finite space
we
on the
have
road.
always been saying that the cause of the traffic are obstacles on the road. So that should be addressed. I mean, remove those obstacles because moving vehicles are not causing traffic. It's the obstacles on the road. Like, for example, if the road is converted into a parking lot, if the road is converted into a terminal for tricycles, jeepneys, or even queuing for queuing trucks.
Areas.
No?
Or mga stalls or food
Stalls,
or whatever.
vendors, and everything. No?
Yeah.
So what we are saying is that on the road, there should only be one activity, meaning moving vehicles. Walang ibang activity dyan, kundi gumagalaw na sasakyan. Pag naglagay ka ng obstacle dyan, then that's it. Magkakaroon ng volume yung, because you slow down traffic, so nagkakaroon ng volume ng vehicles.
All right. So, Councilor Circal, so the position of engineer, no, Swansing, is that it shouldn't be the moving, I guess, pieces on the roads, which of course includes the trucks. That should be banned. It should really be the immovable objects, so to speak.
Actually, for me, Rod, as it is, Metro Manila is congested. It's congested of population, congested tayo sa traffic, congested din tayo sa lahat ng bagay.
Wala na
Metro
tayong
Manila
magagawa
is
dyan,
wala nang improvement eh.
Yeah.
And why did we pass a drastic, or should we say, a controversial traffic scheme? We've been experiencing for 20 years. It gets worse and worse and worse every year, yung traffic natin. JICA has given their study that the Philippines is losing $6 billion pesos a day.
Because of this congestion.
Because of the traffic congestion that is happening in Manila. Even the port of Manila is really congested even before the truck ban. For me, kaya nga nila ginawa yung Batangas port. The reason why we have the Subic port is really to decongest the containers in the city of Manila. Kaya lang ang naging problema natin, it remained a vision. 3% lang ang nagagamit sa Batangas port, sa Subic port 6%. If we decongest this, mas makakaginhawa for the city of Manila. 70% or 60 to 70% of the containers that lands in Manila are delivered to Calabarzon. Yung Calabarzon is much approximately nearer the Batangas port. If we will bring the containers to the Batangas port, it will lessen the traffic in Manila. It will lessen the traffic in other places. So
I'll veer away from the congestion of the ports and the road traffic muna. Why is it that they're all bringing it there in the city for our televiewers? No?
Well,
because they don't have any other option?
For the longest time, kasi, I mean, the city of the ports in the Philippines is concentrated really in the city of Manila. So
Is it convenience lang because it's nearest? Or?
Well, siguro historically that's the only port that we had.
So they have
before.
other options. The importers have other options. The truckers
They have the Batangas port and the Subic port.
And it's just because of by habit they just go to
I guess so. By habit.
the Port of Manila.
Sure, because originally, all the ports, the only port.
But
in
can't the Port of Manila say, hold on, no more, none of that should
The
come
problem is
here."
the City of Manila doesn't have any say in the port operation. It's the Philippine Ports Authority who gives the go signal, who stops the operation there.
But the
Walang
PPA
City
though
of
is within the city of Manila.
It's inside Manila,
They
but
should
the city
follow.
government doesn't have a say in it because it's under the national government.
All right. So let's move on to again go back to the congestion, no? And the traffic situation. We all know that not lalo na a city in Metro Manila doesn't live in a vacuum. No, you're not the sole city. There's obviously other cities around, and even if you may think that okay, this is going to be good for Manila, there's always a domino effect. As mentioned earlier by engineer, there's a domino effect on that. Has the city of Manila considered the effects of the ordinance to other cities? The impact of that.
We have
ordinance?
actually before we enacted the ordinance, we have coordinated it with the MMDA, and in fact, at first instance, they agreed to that. Although they just requested for the adjustment of the time, and
So they agreed to it. MMDA agreed to it.
yes,
Yeah.
in fact, Chairman Tolentino at first fully supports that. But then again, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, led by Sergio Ortiz and Secretary Babe Singson and some other people from the industry, requested the mayor for a window time. That's why I'm sure the Direct Engineer Swan Singh knows about this. Binigyan namin sila ng window time, just like the MMDA's window time.
Okay.
And in fact, that has been going on for the past few months.
All right, so we'll talk about the so-called window time, no? And again, the whole point of this discussion is to really find out where the problem lies, and hopefully, with this discussion, we come up with some kind of solution, and the people can weigh in their own thoughts. We'll be back after a short break. Meanwhile, you can react online via Facebook at facebook.com/opposingviews on 9TV, or tweet your comments at opposing_views. Use the hashtag #OVTruckBan. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Opposing Views. I'm Rod Nepomuceno. We have with us Engineer Alberto Swan Singh, Director of the Confederation of Truckers Association of the Philippines, and Councilor Manuel Zarcal of the 3rd District of Manila. Our debate question for tonight: should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? All right. To Director Swan Singh, can we use the Batangas and Subic ports as an option?
Yes, of course. But you see, let me correct muna the data that was stated by Councilor Sarkala, no? The 70%. Actually, it's only 60%. However, that 60% is for Metro Manila.
So 60% of
The cargos
cargo coming in.
passing through the Port of Manila is destined within Metro Manila.
60%.
60%. You start with Binondo, the Visoria, Tondo, then you go to what you call this, Jose Abad Santos.
Yeah.
Then you go to Nabotas, Malabon, Caloocan, then Cainta, Pasig, Marikina, up to Antipolo, and then you have...
So it's 60%.
60% of that. Only
the 40%.
The 40% is shared by both northbound, meaning going to NLEX, and southbound, which is split to Cavite and this nearby Calabar zone.
Okay. So what is the relevance of that stat in terms of
But Rod, based on our on our studies, like the PCCI, I just had a review of the. It's the PCCI who mentioned that 60% of the cargos that lands in Manila goes to the Calabar zone.
Okay.
It's not us. Actually, it's a study of the PCCI.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, in that study, it says that the utilization of Batangas Port is only 3%. It was built to carry a load of 300,000 TEUs.
Which one? This
The Batangas Port.
Okay.
But at this point in time, they're only using 3%, utilizing 3% of these TEUs that's supposed to be to accommodate.
Why is that? Because if as a normal person, I mean, I am not involved in port operations,
Logistics.
Yeah, or logistics. But if I was doing the math, it seems a logical solution to make use of the Batangas port. Why is it that we're
And
not?
there's also
Because
another one.
as I've been saying, the reason why majority of the shipments passes through Port of Manila, it's because majority of the shipments is only bound
To-
in Metro Manila.
Yes.
Like for example, in the case of Unilever, which is situated right in Manila, they
import
bring
a lot.
they bring in a lot of containers. No? So Manila yon. No? In fact, ang statistics namin, yun sa 60% noon, about 25% of that, Manila.
All right. Okay. Now, is it true, as mentioned by
Yeah.
the Councilor Zercalo, is it true that Manila Ports engineer are already congested even before the truck ban?
Well, not naman congested because before the truck ban, the utilization percentage was only around 49 to 50%.
Really? 49,
Yes.
50%? And yet, there was so much traffic.
Inside the port?
Yeah, yeah.
No, hindi naman. Yung traffic inside the port is natural yun. No?
Natural,
Because, I mean, trucks coming in, getting out of the gates,
Yeah.
ganon. But as far as utilization of the port is concerned, Port of Manila,
49% lang.
49% lang, meaning you can maneuver inside the equipment. They will not have difficulty in maneuvering. Then you can service incoming vessels, no problem. Queuing time for vessels is what? Wala, zero. No? In fact, right now, ang nagku-queue na barko sa atin, 10. It never happened before.
And this is a result of the truck ban.
It's a result of the congestion inside the port
All right.
brought about by the congestion in the streets.
Okay. So, Councilor, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I will agree with the engineer na inside the port, hindi congested. Sa labas yung congested.
Sa road.
Sa road, sa R10, sa Delpan Bridge. Well, this is also one of the reasons why we enacted it. The port itself, as it is, na hindi naman we really don't have a say on their operation, but the people that are suffering from the traffic that causes about this congestion of trucks on the road, City of Manila Kami pinagbumura ng mga tao ng City of Manila kung bakit ganyan ang traffic. In fact, data will show maraming mahihirap na nasagasaan yung mga truck dahil dun sa gabi na dumadating sila.
Nagmamadali.
Nagmamadali. Yung dinadaanan kasi ng mga truck na yun dati, these are congested areas na medyo mahihirap ang nakatira doon. I'm sure Engineer Swansing will bear me out na pagdating doon sa Kapulong, talagang yung mga bata minsan nasasagasaan.
Are these the permanent structures you're talking about na shouldn't be in the road?
Most of them are informal settlers in the area.
But are they on the road or?
They're making the road as playground, so that's it.
Okay. Well, so that kind of adds. Was there ever a resolution for that?
Well, yeah.
Removal of
nandiyan naman yun.
those
and the reason,
informal
kasi
settlers?
it's a cat and mouse Kung sino mag-aano dyan di ba? So, for us, mas priority namin yung buhay ng mga kababayan namin dun sa Manila.
He mentioned-
There are other roads that the trucks can use. In fact, the City of Manila as it is, yung mga roads namin naman, hindi naman ganun kalalaki. The roads that we given to the truckers are the big roads na talagang hindi makakapagpeligro ng buhay dun sa
Yeah. Okay.
What
Now-
happened was
yeah.
that, let's say for example, like what Councilor said, Kapulong Street. Kapulong Street before was just a callejon, together with Rahabago. Rahabago is you cross sa Juan Lunay Street.
Yeah.
That street goes to Jose Abad Santos. No? The main street at that time was only Tayuman.
Yes.
But DPWH realigned it, so they have widened Rahabago, they have widened Yuseco, so and also towards Road 10, pati yung what you call this, tong Kapulong Street. So that became a main road.
A main road,
But
alright.
however, people there, residents there, are used to seeing that road as a callejon. So the activities that they used to do when it was still a callejon, they still continue doing it.
And that's blocking
Yes,
some of the
of
road.
course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should address that also, no? Not just. I'm just thinking
right.
out loud here, because
Yes.
it would appear to me that sort of like adds up to the congestion. Now, as a sort of compromise, Director Swansing, no, with the national government, Manila has implemented this 24/7 trade lane. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
In
In
fact,
fact, it's actually it's not 24/7. It's 24/6 and 2/3.
can you explain that? Why is that? There's
Because
a 15
on
minute.
Fridays,
Okay.
it's MMDA.
All right.
On Fridays, they have a truck ban.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
so
complete. All right.
the track ban is from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then again from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
So it's
all right, not complete. So, do you think this is enough, though? Do you think this is enough to address the congestion?
Well, what we've been saying is that logistics is a chain, you know, and vessels comes in, offload their cargo, and this cargo should exit the gate, no, at no time, no. So what happens is that if you restrict the movements of these cargoes getting out of the gates, then you constrict. I mean, then you have congestion in the port. That's what happens.
So, in spite of this 24/7 trade lane.
Well, actually, the 24/7 trade lane, 24/7 trade lane, more or less relieved the pressure on the port. But however,
Not
that's
enough.
Not enough. Like for example, we still have to look for a route going east of Manila, meaning connecting Pasig, Cainta, Marikina, and Antipolo.
All right. Okay. Councilor, your thoughts on the 24/7 trade
In
lane?
addition, actually, because of the request of the cabinet cluster on port congestion, we added one more lane in R10 to Katigbak. We just passed it recently, if I'm not mistaken, last Tuesday. We already gave another lane. It's a passing through lane from R10 all the way to Katigbak. And in fact, we also added, I'm sure engineer will agree with me, yung Rojas Boulevard to Quirino Avenue that goes all the way to Osmeña.
Osmeña, yeah.
So that's another
That's another
addition to
tra-
the
okay.
24-hour,
All right.
24/7.
Okay. So now let's talk about the MMDA. Well, they have not really a policy here. The MMDA has implemented a so-called last mile routes. Are these, maybe you can explain this a little bit, and what are these effective?
What does the last mile mean? No? Last mile means that if a truck is traveling along the trade lane, which is 24/7, and let's say, for example, not Manila, but Parañaque, it turns left at Naya Road. Naya Road, Parañaque imposes a truck ban there. And if, let's say, the warehouse is somewhere in Sukat, so hindi makakarating yung truck doon. So that's why they have this last mile thing, system where the trucks that delivers during weekends are tagged so that these trucks can be used on the last mile
All right. Okay,
during truck ban hours.
now, do you think that this helps?
Well, it's helping. It's helping, but
Not enough?
not enough. No, not enough. What we're saying is that do away with the tagging instead. What we have been requesting the owners of these cargos is that to talk to their local officials, because their warehouses or factories are located on those local roads, so they can perhaps exercise influence over the local officials to permit their trucks to pass through the local roads.
Councilor, how does this...
In fact, we're doing that in the City of Manila.
You are?
It was part of the original ordinance wherein petroleum tankers, perishable goods, construction materials that will, where destinations are outside the truck route, we give them exemptions and we give them permits to travel on that streets.
Okay. All right. We need to take a short break. More about the Manila truck ban when we come back. You're watching Opposing Views. Welcome back. You're still watching Opposing Views. I'm Rod Nepomuceno. Still with us is Engineer Alberto Swansing, Director of the Confederation of Truckers Association of the Philippines. And on the opposing side is Councilor Manuel Zarcal of the 3rd District of Manila. Our question, should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? Now, I'll just go quickly to the last mile routes policy of the MMDA. You mentioned that it helps a bit, but we understand that that's only until September 22nd. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Well, again, as I've said earlier, sana wala na yun. But they should do away with that instead. And instead, apply what we have been suggesting to the owners of the cargoes. Go to the local officials where their factories or warehouses are situated and talk to the local officials and ask, exercise their influence that they be allowed to, their trucks that deliver cargoes to their factories be allowed to pass through.
But wala na stickering.
Wala na stickering, yeah. I think that would be a better idea than this stickering thing. Like, for example, last weekend, when they did stickering, they only tagged something like 700 trucks. And those 700 trucks, since Monday up to today, most of them were booked for cargoes out of Manila, not within the confines of Metro Manila.
You mentioned earlier, Councilor, that you had something like this.
Yes,
similar?
originally in the Mother Ordinance, which we enacted the first time about the truck ban, we included exemptions in this ordinance: the petroleum, the construction materials, perishable goods, and all warehouses located inside Manila where goods will be picked up and delivered. We give exemptions for the trucks, of course, to deliver. To pick
And that's
up
still
the
in
goods.
effect?
Yes.
That's still in effect.
It is.
Okay. Okay. So now, Valenzuela City Congressman Sherwin Gatchalian said that other ports should be also utilized. You mentioned Batangas earlier, and I think we mentioned earlier that it's only been being used
Batangas
3%.
is now being utilized, and it's now 98% utilization.
Oh, it's 98%.
Yes, the nearing full capacity.
Because of the
transfer, no?
All right. Now,
those ships that cannot wait for berthing at Port of Manila, some of them shifted to Batangas.
Okay. So how about Subic, sir?
Subic it's being used now, no? Right now, it's being used as transfer point for some of the cargoes that has been overstaying in Manila.
So this three, Subic, Manila, and Batangas, you think eventually
they should
that
be
will
complementing each
provide,
other.
if we complement them, do you think that will solve a lot of the problems?
Oh yes, of course.
Somehow,
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah. But so should that be something that should be strictly enforced? The spreading out of the
That's
containers?
exactly our point initially. We need to decongest the Port of Manila. And we have available ports outside the City of Manila. And I think that's one of the solutions that we can attain in
Is that something that's
decongesting.
being looked at seriously by the government or by the City of Manila, for example?
Well, as far as the city government is concerned, we can only think about it, but we cannot really implement it. It's the national government.
It's
who has to-
PTA.
It's the
it's a
national
national
government has
government,
to implement it.
All right. Now, the snowball effects, no? Truck ban, and then port congestion, price increases of goods, losses in profit and economy. Are we willing to sacrifice all of these? I mean, how about the relevant sectors? Because that seems to be what people are saying with this truck ban. All of this is resulting to economic losses.
Again, I'll go back to my original point that this would not happen. This is not the congestion in the port of Manila did not happen overnight. It has been there, but the problem is our government tends to be reactionary on any problem that we encounter. We should have a long-term solution. We have to foresee what's going to happen. The government has been boasting one of the reasons of this congestion also is because of the economic trade that the country is going. In every growing economy, like in Singapore, in Thailand, they encountered problems like this also. But the only good thing about them is they have perceptions, they have foresights of what's going to happen. In Thailand, for example, they foresaw that there will be port congestion in their ports. They created another port. to solve this issue.
Kailan?
I think this should the government of the Philippines should also follow through on
Yes.
this kind of planning also.
Right, because one of the major ports, Singapore, it's a very tiny city. Somehow is able to manage
Yes.
their,
Correct.
their,
Yes.
their,
Oh, yes.
their port area. No?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
engineer, your thoughts naman on this. No? Do you feel though that there really is an increase? All of this is also partly a result of the increase in the goods that are coming in.
Oh yes,
And,
of course. It has great impact as far as prices of goods that we buy. No, ultimately, we buy the food, the clothing, everything. Because remember, Rod, we are an importing country, no, import dependent, and we had the statistics shows that for every 4 containers that comes in loaded, only 1 container goes out immediately. No, meaning
So
export.
net, we're an importing country. Yeah.
So we're an importing country. And the port, if you now lump it with the whole logistics chain, you know, this chain should not be disturbed. We have been telling the City of Manila when they were floating around with the idea of imposing this daytime truck ban, that they're not supposed to disturb the chain, because once the chain is disturbed, let's say for example, the exit of let's say cargoes coming from the port and going to the streets, if once this is disrupted, then the whole chain is disrupted.
All right. Now, do you see, engineer, no? And then I'll ask Councilor Racal, will the Manila traffic or the traffic in Manila ever be normalized? And if so, will the truck ban be lifted after it does normalize?
Well, as far as normalization of traffic in Manila, and not only Manila, but in also other cities in Metro Manila, if, well, they take a close look at how traffic is being managed. We can see intersections being blocked by vehicles who cannot move forward because the thoroughfare is blocked. So, dapat libre yung intersection so that walang gridlock. Mga ganon. No? And as I've said earlier, again, those obstacles on the road should be removed. Then there should only be one activity as far as the road is concerned, meaning passing
through.
vehicles.
Yeah, because that's Councilor. Let's state what's obvious or what people see. No, there really are a lot of structures sometimes on the road. May basketball court pa dyan and everything.
Admittedly, that problem still exists. No?
Should we not focus on those? Should we not instead
Well,
of the
I
trucks
think
that
it's a
are
concerted effort. The city government, through the leadership of President Mayor Erap and Vice Mayor Isko, has been addressing this problem one way or the other. As I've said, we addressed the issues about the traffic congestion on the bus. We started on the bus and truck. Now we're pursuing cleansing the jeepney operators because based on our studies, there are about 15,000 to 20,000 jeepney operators in the City of Manila that are plying traversing inside the City of Manila. And out of this 20,000, I think there are about 7 to 8, almost half are colorum. So if we get rid of this, we somehow decongest traffic also. We're addressing the problem as far as tricycles are concerned.
Yeah.
We have already passed a ordinance banning them on major thoroughfares. Well, in the first place, hindi naman sila talaga dapat doon. So we're addressing that issues. As far as vendors is concerned, the city government is already doing its share in organizing them. So eventually,
at least removing them from the streets and the roads. You know?
correct.
Yeah.
So eventually, that's our
Will it
vision.
you think at some point it will normalize? And
I
is there
hope
a
so.
timetable?
I'm still optimistic.
And
that
when
we
it
can
does
do that.
normalize, will the truck ban be lifted? Do you think?
The city government, kami sa city government, we want everybody to be happy. If we can do away with the truck ban, achieving our purpose in decongesting the traffic in the City of Manila, so be it. We will do that. In fact, we gave them all the requests, the truckers' request right from the start. We gave them the 24-hour truck lane. We gave them exemptions. But of course, there are certain rules to be followed.
All right. Now, we need to take a short break. Don't go away. When we come back, the results of our online poll on the issue and the final words of our guests. Stay tuned. You're watching Opposing Views. Welcome back. This is Opposing Views. I'm Rod Nepomuceno. Still with us is Engineer Alberto Swansing of the Confederation of Truckers Association of the Philippines and Manila Councilor Manuel Zarcal. A question for tonight: should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? Now, Councilor Zarcal, Christmas is coming. Will the truck ban, you think, worsen the situation?
I don't think so. I think we should really study carefully about not lifting the truck ban, because as it is, during the Christmas season, there will be more influx of vehicles coming in and out of Manila. Especially we have the Divisoria area. So
Then there's
we
a
really
lot of goods also coming in. No?
Yes, so our problem in the traffic congestion will not only be focused on the trucks, but also on the private cars. So having the trucks there and the private vehicles there, God only knows it would be. I don't want to imagine how chaotic it will be if it will
That's right.
really
Director,
aggravate the traffic condition there.
I'm sure. Director Swansing, your thoughts on that? Do you think the truck ban will aggravate the situation for this coming Christmas holiday season?
I think so, because we're talking of backlogs that has been produced because of the moves that has been created earlier. The backlogs, there are two backlogs that we're talking about. The backlogs inside the port, and also the backlogs for the shipments that was not able to arrive here in the Philippines, in Port of Manila. They're now staying in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Kaohsiung, in Keelung, in
double
Malaysia.
whammy.
That's double whammy.
All right. Now,
Plus the 3% increase during bear months.
that's right. There's always a 3% increase.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
always the 3% increase.
Now, Councilor Zarcal, do you agree that special powers from President Aquino are needed to lift the truck ban? Some people are saying that it needs President Aquino's intervention.
I don't think we need to go to that extent that he has to. Congress should give him emergency powers for that. In fact, as I've said, the City of Manila has been very cooperative to the national government, in particular the cabinet cluster on port congestion. Basically, all the requests they made were granted already. And it's just a matter of, I think, proper coordination with us. And proper coordination between the city government and the national government. As it is, early this week, we were kind of surprised because the R10 area from Katigbak to the north and south pier were taken over by Malacanang already. MMDA, Task Force Pantalan.
And you had an issue with that?
Well, we were not informed. But when the Secretary Babe Singson and Secretary Almendras went to City Hall a few days after that, we gave them all the logistics they need.
Support, yeah. Now, do you agree, Director Swansing, that you think that it's time for President Aquino to step in and be involved in this truck ban issue?
Well, the issue has been raised into a national concern because of the effects that it created. Some jobs were lost, factories shut down because of lack of raw materials to process.
You think it's right, though, that he kind of intervenes and
yes, of course.
Stop,
it's time that presidential intervention should be there, because what we are trying to protect here is the economy. You know?
Yeah, on that point, on a larger scale, do you see any long-term effect of the truck ban, or do you think Do you think it's going to be better or worse? And or do you think that this is just a short-term problem?
It's going to be a long-term problem if we do not address it. If we do not address
In
it.
other words, if it continues on, you
If
think
it
it's a long-term
continues
problem?
on, then it's going to be a problem.
And
We do
it's not just the
we do not
truckers.
want to escalate this to a crisis level. What we wanted to do is just, well, keep it down, no? Meaning even lower than the national concern level.
Are we there? Are we there? Are we in the crisis
No, we are not yet on the crisis level. We're trying to prevent that from happening. What we're trying to do is even lower it from the national concern level. No?
Yeah, but Councilor, ultimately, there is, at some point, you'd like to lift that truck ban, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
if it doesn't, if we don't need the truck ban already, as I've said, trucks are welcome in the City of Manila as long as
And
we will
businesses,
not.
yeah.
There will be decongestion of traffic in the City of Manila. We want trade also. We want to get our economy going also in the City of Manila. And I believe that the trucks, the containers, the raw materials, the merchandises that are coming in from the Port of Manila, we also need that.
All right, as a final question, do you think, to both of you gentlemen, do you think that this situation is just going to get worse, or do you think we're seeing better days ahead?
I think we will eventually solve the at this point in time, people are coordinating already. The city government, the national government. I'm sure the group of engineers on singles also wants to cooperate, and they are cooperating also with the solution to this problem.
Director Swansing, are you optimistic or pessimistic about this whole situation?
Well, let me put it this way. The cabinet cluster in charge of port congestion is doing a hell of a job putting together measures to prevent this matter into escalating into a crisis proportion. Secretary Babe Singson has been doing a hell of a job fast-tracking some of the projects, especially roads beside the port. Secretary Purisima has been breathing down on the neck of Commissioner Sibilia, no? To field their men even during weekends, so that cargoes could be withdrawn during weekends. And Secretary Domingo has been watching very carefully the price of commodities that has been slowly increasing.
All right. Okay. So again, for our debate question, should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? We have enough time for just your final words. Councilor Zarcal, you start regarding this debate question. Should the City of Manila lift its truck ban?
Again, my position is eventually, if the traffic condition in the City of Manila improves, we're open to lifting the truck ban. But at this point in time, I guess it's a matter of giving in to some requests because of the current crisis situation. So for us, again, my point is it's not the truck ban that caused the congestion in the port. We may have been a contributing factor, but we were not the reason why there is port congestion, and the City of Manila is not to be blamed for the increase in prices and everything.
All right. Thank you very much, Councilor Zarcal. And Director Swansing, your final words?
Well, what we're looking forward to is a well-crafted road sharing scheme where other vehicles other than trucks can use the road at the time where it is needed most. All of us hate traffic, and to solve traffic, well, of course, we need to look into the traffic management system that is in place. Probably it's an overhaul of the whole system, the way we do things. But of course, as I've said again and again, for as long as there are obstacles on the road, you'll have traffic. So that's what we should attend to, is to remove those obstacles.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to our guests, Engineer Alberto Swansing, Director of the Confederation of Truckers Association of the Philippines, and of course, Councilor Manuel Zarcal of the 3rd District of Manila. Now, let's see the viewers' opinion through our online poll. Should the City of Manila lift its truck ban? Those who answered yes, they should lift it, 70%, and those who answered no, 30%. And that's our opposing views for tonight. Tune in again next week for another bold and engaging discussion on today's most relevant issues. I'm Rod Nepomuceno. Good night. God bless.